Today I'm going to show you how to adjust the drain stopper in your sink. How to fix a stopper issue. Basically this stopper is detached itself from the clevis here. That's what this piece is called. You can see the rod moves up and down, but unfortunately the stopper doesn't move at all. And because of that, there's a couple things that could happen. Actually be a broken stopper. There's a little piece inside that's broken, or it could be up underneath where it's basically come disconnected from this rod back here. So I'm going to show you real quick how to do that. All right, so now we're under the sink. I'm going to show you real quick. So this is your pivot rod. This attaches to the stopper, the drain stopper in here. It basically just has a little tiny insert, a little rod that goes in a hole in that. And as you pivot this up and down, and why it's called the pivot rod, that actually opens and closes the stopper. Now this is called the clevis strap. It attaches to the clevis screw right here, and then this is called the clevis. That's the piece you see up top that you actually pull up and down when you're moving your stopper. The clevis screw, that can be used sometimes to adjust the stopper height. So you can use that as well if you need to adjust the stopper height. If the clevis is too high or too low, you can make that adjustment there. You can also make a little bit of adjustment here on the clevis strap. You can actually see there's holes in it. So you have several options where you're going to put this. And then basically this is just the spring clip that goes on top of that. So this pinches, you pinch this to get it off. It's pretty easy. I'll show you here. Go ahead and pinch it. And then basically once you're pinching it, it slides off. Be real careful anytime you're working around plumbing. Some of these lines are really easy to knock loose if the connections are old. So just be real careful. But you can see I just slid it right off. And there's the spring clip. Again, you're just going to take it with your fingers. All you do is push it together, and when you push it together, it loosens it so it can slide right along. As soon as you let it go, it actually binds. Now this piece here goes around this. So remember, when you're doing this, putting this back, it goes actually around the clevis strap like this. And then one side goes on this pivot rod, and then as it slides through the hole here, once you put it wherever you want it, it'll go to the other side of the spring clip. Now that I've detached the spring clip, I'm going to go ahead and remove the pivot rod, and basically just doing that, you just have to unscrew this here. Normally this is just a hand tighten, so it's not anything you really need a wrench for. It could get stuck, but normally it's just done by hand because you can over tighten it, and this is just a plastic piece in there. That's what actually keeps your seal going there. So this piece here actually moves the stopper up and down. So that's basically how that piece works. All right, so now that I've detached the pivot rod, I'm going to go ahead and pull the drain stopper out. So you can actually see there's the little piece I was talking about, how it slides inside the stopper. And as this piece goes up and down, it actually moves the stopper up and down. So that's what locks the stopper in place. That's what makes your movement of the stopper and causes the seal. This is the piece that tends to break right along here at the bottom. So if the stopper stops moving, that's normally all it is. This piece breaks, so you just replace the entire stopper. You put the new stopper in. This side needs to go towards the faucet, so that when you put the pivot rod in, it'll function properly. And while I've got that out, I'm going to go ahead and clean it real quick. You're cleaning a sink, or if you need to fish something out of a drain, this is basically just a little spring tool. You can get this at pretty much any auto store. You press this down. This has a claw. So the claw comes out every time you're pressing it and then comes back in. Really good if you needed to, again, if you lost something in your drain or just cleaning the drain. If you have a hair clog or something like that and it's in the P-trap, you can actually use this to slide down into the P-trap, grab it, and then pull the hair back up. Okay, got the drain cleaned out, went ahead and cleaned up the stopper a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble this. The only other thing that can go bad on these is the actual washer that goes around the base of the stopper. So you can replace the individual washer, but honestly, easier just to go ahead and replace the entire stopper in my opinion, because again, this is the piece that will tend to wear out over time. That's the only other piece that really breaks on these. It's either going to be the seal or it's going to be this piece. So let's put it back in. This side goes towards the faucet. Slide it down in there. Try to make it as square as possible when you're putting it in there because this piece has to fit in from below. First piece we're going to put in is the pivot rod. So this goes in, again, this slides straight in. You're going to feel, I mean, as long as you have that put straight, you should be fine. Go ahead and just tighten this a little bit first. And what I do now is make sure when you move this that the stopper is moving. So you can actually reach your hand around the sink. I can Yes, so it is intact, or it is in there. Mainly just check this before you tighten everything up, because if for some reason you somehow did not get the stopper, like I said, how it hooks in there, if it didn't hook in properly, then you're going to end up redoing it. All right, so the stopper's in place. I'm going to tighten that down. So you can leave the pivot rod loose for a minute. You can see right now, you pick it up and it falls. That's fine until we get the spring clip on. Once we get the spring clip on, we'll tighten it up. So I'm going to push it back here. Get that piece in the spring clip. Okay, got the spring clip on. I'm going to slide it up, and now you can see it moves freely. So now it's all connected again. At this point, go ahead and tighten this. And again, you're just hand tightening this. There's no reason to put a wrench on it. When you tighten it enough, you'll notice when you move it, the pivot rod up or down, it actually stays in place. And that's the way you want it. You want it to where the stopper stays up when you pull it up, or goes down when you pull it down. All right, so now you can see as I move the clevis up and down, stopper moves fine now, so it's all fixed. Only other thing I tell you to check is when you're doing anything on your faucet, go ahead and check your aerator. A lot of times this will actually have trash that builds up in there. Just unscrew it. Again, something that's hand tightened. You will get some corrosion on this over time. You'll see this one's cleaned out. There's not really a lot of debris in here. But sometimes if they turn the water on and off, you'll get sand and grit in this. So it can actually block the flow of your water. So just clean this out while you're doing a little bit of sink maintenance, and then you're good to go.